St. Peter, president of the Minnesota Twins, joins 9 to noon, 30 minutes from now. For it is the season opener for the old Twinigmatics. That one's at about 3 o'clock, 3-ish, taking on the Kansas City Royals. Meanwhile, here's Jordan Leopold, a former Hobie Baker Award winner. He was a defenseman for the Golden Gophers. Leo was a second-round pick by the Anaheimers in 1999, went to the Stanley Cup with the Calgary Flames, then played for the Abs, Panthers, Penguins, Sabres, Blues, Blue Jackets, and finished with the Minnesota Wild. Don Lucia's Gophers won back-to-back college hockey titles in 2002 and 2003, and Leo was part of the first title-winning bunch, and it finished like this.
Here's Tafe outside the circle. Back to the captain, Leopold on net. A tip pull. They scored one, but only wins it for Minnesota!
I mean, you have to enjoy hearing that. Whenever you're smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling.
Whenever you hear it, it's back to the captain Leopold, blah, 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 Petolny. Wow. Then the crowd after that was an overtime victory against Maine. I was in attendance, and I still contend 21, 22 years ago, it's granted, with some of these Vikings games that I've been part of, 09 NFC title game at Superdome, Minneapolis Miracle, 03-ish, there were some really big wild games, Western Conference Finals and stuff, likewise for the Wolves against the Lake. I mean, so I've been to some big games here in my 26 on KFAN. That moment, that game, being at XL Energy Center and the tension, because Maine took a lead relatively late. I think Ballard scored first. I'll never forget Johnny's goal. He's scooting along the board, the board to the right of the goaltender, and then boom, Johnny Paul scores. Well, then they take like a 3-2 lead. You're dead. You're absolutely dead. And I think it's with like 53 seconds left, whatever.
You had a good memory.
Was it Kowalska?
Yep.
Yeah, Kowalska ties the game with less than a minute to go.
Yep.
And then, in overtime.
Here's Tafe outside the circle. Back to the captain, Leopold on net. A tip pull. They scored one, but only win.
Back to the captain Leopold on net, which means you shot.
Not on net.
What
way
happened?
Off. It was a terrible shot.
Hey, it's not easy boxing a high level hockey like that, okay, when you're way up in the rafters. But there's the tip, and there's Grant Petolny. By the way, Grant Petolny, God bless him, wonderful, wonderful human being. He, Petolny had 4 goals in that playoff run, man. Yep. He had 2 in one game, 1 in another, and then the championship winning goal. That's, where is he now? What? Not Western Michigan.
Northern. He's at Northern Michigan.
Northern Michigan.
Well, but can
have losing records or whatever. Yeah. You're never gonna forget that moment.
No, there's an old saying. What is it? Say there were 20,000 people in the stands, but I met about 40,000. And looking back, yeah, I smile when I hear that. Yeah, it's quite remarkable. I got to live it. It's kind of a blur, actually. So hearing that, obviously I didn't listen to the game. I was on the ice, front row seat. But to have that opportunity and to hear that building, the roof almost came off that thing.
Yeah, the tension.
And I played, playoff games in Minnesota for, I was with Colorado against the Wild, and then I was with the Wild, and I've heard loud buildings.
And then you were with the Wild, and you were in the stands watching playoff games.
Yes, and that was probably the loudest building I've heard. And then when you get, probably 18,000 people chanting, doing the Minnesota chant, wow, that was bonkers.
Well, I know you're facing some knee repair related terrorism later today.
I'm going in today.
Well, that steps on the first touchdown call or hat trick call in that. I was like, when are you hitting the road for Sioux Falls?
Yeah, I would.
Well, would you really?
I would. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, you would.
I got teammates going there right now.
Oh, wow.
Well,
see, because you became alumni super fan last year and even joined 9 to noon while drunk on a St. Petersburg golf course.
I was not drunk. Come on. that's overshooting.
And instead of hitting the golf ball, you almost hit your phone.
I dropped
live
the
on
phone.
The radio.
I dropped the phone to take a shot.
To take a what?
Serious. A great shot, and it was. It was probably 2 feet from the pin. win, and I just the rest is history. It makes for good live entertainment.
Oh, it's great.
I will not say I had any daddy pops, but I was having a good time.
Bro, that energy with Motzko's team last year with Faber and Cooley and all those high end cats, and it's like Bob's on the show every week. I mean, I've known Bob in a roundabout way due to some outside of radio stuff for almost as long as you've known him. Certainly not as close. He was your assistant coach with Lucia. Yep. So I love Bob. I mean, Bob and I have had a really close relationship for a while, which means I really have no problem sharing this because A, it may be wrong, but B, Bob wouldn't take it personally. Last year in the overtime to start it, man, we might have had, I don't want to say a bad line because there wasn't a bad line or a bad lineup, but a secondary type lineup was out there. And then all of a sudden you're like, what? It's over? You know what I mean? So I bet you that probably is eating at him a little bit, and it's so beautiful you get another crack to make good on it.
Well, you don't like to regret things. You look at it, okay, going in the overtime, there's so many questions. Even myself, I was in the stands, so I didn't get into my seat until right when they scored. Okay, Quinnipiac had a perfect play. They ran a play off a face-off. Guys weren't expecting it, and you're just trying to settle in the overtime, and next thing you know is the puck's in your net. And you go, okay, what just happened?
Right.
But don't like to talk about the past a lot, but that was probably one of our best shots to win a national championship. And that's why I was pumped last year. Yeah. I was having a great time, and you know that. But down in Tampa as well. This year, the Frozen Four is right here in our backyard again. Yep. Second time since we won. And the last time, was it 17, I think maybe.
Oh, was it really?
2011. Okay. But the Bulldogs won.
Yeah.
So they have an opportunity to get back there, and I know that's going to be part of their rally cry. Let's get back to St. Paul. Let's establish ourselves in there. Well, they got to go through Omaha. Good team. Yeah. All right. And then if they
actually know something about Omaha?
I don't know a lot.
Same.
I know that they're going to play a high upscale game, and they're going to give us a run for our money. And watching our team the past couple weekends, the Penn State, I attended both games. The first night on a Friday, we looked good. Saturday, we looked terrible.
Really?
We didn't look very good.
My college hockey insiders, who follow it very, very, very closely, basically made it sound like they mailed it in against Michigan. I don't want to say mailed it in, but didn't have the level of urgency in that semifinal game that was required.
And that's what I've heard. I was listening to the game. I was unable to watch it, but I was listening to it, and it just sounded like we were playing the same way that we finished against Penn State. And we ended up winning against Penn State, but we're not playing well. And then you go into the Michigan game. Hopefully you end up beating those guys, and it doesn't work out that way. Well, not playing great hockey. So I'm a little reserved to say, okay, we're going to go in there and slaughter these guys today. Yep. It's not that way. And we've had coaches, and I've had coaches throughout the years say, hey, guys, it's not like a light switch. You don't just turn this on and go,
especially in hockey.
We're going to play great. Yes. You've got to have some momentum and some good feeling going into this. And you can have a great week of practice and watch video and, get your X's and O's figured out, but you got to show up. So the most important part I'm going to see tonight is I'm going to look and see how we start the game. Yeah. If we start the game flat, I'm a little concerned.
Oh, geez.
But if we start on our toes and we got things going, we got guys rolling, that we should win. We should.
Motzko joined Monday, and it's like a common thread I've had with them this year. Not every single week because it just gets boring. But the winning the draws, the face-offs have been a little problematic for them. More so at certain key parts of the game where they're not winning draws in the neutral zone, and you got to do this and this, whatever. Well, Nebraska-Omaha's top 10. I mean, they're like 8 or 9, and they're on fire over like their last 5. So they're really good at winning draws. And I pointed that out to him, and he took it. Well, of course he knew it, but he took it a step farther, being like, paraphrasing, ain't nothing flashy about them. But guess what? They don't make a lot of mistakes. Yep. And they play the even-keeled game, and just kind of like, he didn't say this, but I got the feeling they wait for you to make mistakes, and then they get you.
Yeah, well, we call it playing chess. You're playing chess, not checkers.
I like that.
So you're trying to feel out your opponent, and hockey is a game of mistakes. Whether you like to see the highlight reels or not, there was always a mistake made before the highlight reel or whatever kind of goal happens. And it could have been 30 seconds before that.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, and that's how you create your opportunities. Now, getting back to the face-off things, I mean, I remember listening to the game last weekend, and Jackson Nelson's one of our best face-off guys. and I think he was batting around 25% in the faceoff circle. So, I mean, if your best guy that historically has been around 60% all year is batting 25% in a big game, it's concerning. I mean, but you can't blame it all on the centers either. Sometimes the centers get in and they have other good guys going against them, and it's up to the wingers and defense and the whole team, the whole group of five, to win the draw for the center.
Yeah.
Okay, they all have jobs. And to me, if he's not winning draws, there's something lacking there. What is it? And it's attention to detail, we call it. And so, hopefully they had a little rest this last week, and I'm sure they addressed a lot of this stuff. It's just a matter of, like I say, you can turn the light switch on.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to get there, but if they can get a little bit of energy through that light switch and show the way they can play, which we know they can play well, it's just a matter, is it going to be a little bit too late?
Well, hockey fans, specifically college hockey fans, I mean, they find it amusing what I'm about to say, and that's fine, because I probably should have known this name about 2 months ago. But are you aware that of a player named Macklin Celebrini?
Say what?
Okay. Macklin Celebrini.
Okay, I love that mouthful.
I'm really glad you don't know who he is, because your hockey immortality, and you would fall into the right answer just by talking to somebody. I had no idea who this kid is. Okay. He plays for BU. Okay. He's supposedly one of the, if not the best college hockey players in the country.
See, I just concentrate on our local guys.
Well, you might hook him in round two. He's 17 years old.
Yeah,
How about that? He's 17, dominating. I ain't saying that, like the Mankato or Bemidji teams from years gone by with 23, 24, 25, 26-year-olds, whatever. But to dominate or be considered, John Hines, coach of the Wild, I asked him about him earlier. He's going to be the first pick in the June draft, Macklin Celebrini. And of course, he's familiar with him, and he's like, well, I can't, I don't know if he's exactly the best, but he does this, and this, and he's going to be a problem in the NHL, man.
So if I come back and we got to talk about BU, I'll remember that name.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah. Well, and we got Hobie Baker Banquet coming up and all that kind of stuff. But now that you mentioned that name,
17 years of age.
Where did you hockey DB him? Did you see where was he before BU?
It feels like Regina.
No way.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Ordo, look it up.
Well, it was a USHL bid or something like that.
Okay.
So but seriously, I mean, you're a Hobie Baker Award winner. You won a championship. And times are different 2 decades later. But at age 17, is it easier to skate around people now than maybe 20 years ago because things are so different?
It is
stuff like that.
I don't think it's any easier. The kids are so much more talented now, and they're faster. Oh my gosh, it's that's what we've been stressing the last 20 years: is skill.
I was going through when I was looking at you didn't win it in 03, but so I'm looking through 03, 02, and kind of. I mean, there were badass NHL players all throughout college hockey back at that time. Then you go ahead a little bit. Oh, Zach Parisi. Oh, Jonathan Taves.
Now they're household names.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So it's
but then you got some of these guys like an Austin Matthews that comes out of nowhere, and this kid too is a young 17, 18-year-old. They go play like Jack Hughes. Where did he play? He's at Jersey.
Oh yeah, no, but he didn't play college hockey.
I don't think so.
Okay, well Nathan McKinnon played in Halifax for the Moose.
Yeah, well, but he's a Canadian, so we don't consider that.
That's true.
We don't count them hours. Even though the funniest part is the guys that played like Walsey, he's a Canadian. Okay, all those guys know that they want to send their kids to college NCAA hockey,
right? Yeah,
to further their career.
But it's for the education.
Yeah, but they also know the States is the bomb. Yeah. So they just want to come down here.
Holy cow! Yeah. So with the Wild, it's been a rudderless. I don't know how closely you followed it, but I mean it's been a rudderless season.
Crazy.
In that you got a coach fired, you got injuries. Eriksson Ek is clearly the heart and soul of the team, man, because you can just tell when he's out. But when I say rudderless, and I like Hines, and I wish him nothing but the best moving forward. But really, like I said to Russo Radio last couple of days, is I envision Bill Guerin in his office with a calendar. And it's in essence like a prisoner waiting for a pardon for the Parisi Suter bits to come off.
Yep.
Where he's just
absolutely.
July 6th. Yes. Sun went down, sun came up. July 7th. And just until that changes, I just don't know how much can change.
Yeah. I think there's one more year on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So until that, you got to get that money off the table. That's the biggest thing. I'm waiting. This is going to sound really funny, but I just came to my mind. I'm waiting to see an organization trade a head coach.
Well, the New Orleans Saints did it with Sean Payton.
I know, but I want to see it in hockey.
Yeah.
I just do.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, you see these coaches, we end up gassing our coach here and then hire Hines. And
you played for Darryl Suter, right?
Yeah.
So Darryl Suter has been traded for a leatherneck to be named later.
I would love it. And he's, and the joke is you get hired to get fired as a coach in professional hockey. So, these guys are just waiting to get fired, but I'd love to just see one of these guys get traded. Like, okay, we're going to trade for John Tortorella.
Yeah.
And bring him here for just great quotes for you. You would love that guy.
What, I think, yeah. Oh. I've actually, like on YouTube, I've seen a clip or something on NHL Network, and then I'll go watch the press conference.
Yep.
And then I'll watch other stuff, and he's just off the cuff, man.
He just spits it how it is. It's hilarious.
Yes, and he's very terse with it, very black and white, and he's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, Dave St. Peter, president of the Minnesota Twins, about 10, 15 minutes from now. 2 to go for Leo. Motzko, you've known him for a long time. He was a Lucia assistant when you were there. What was your relationship like with him? What's it like now? I think he's a fantastic man.
Well, first of all, it was his birthday yesterday.
Yep.
So same with my second oldest daughter. So they share that.
Mm-hmm.
But Motz came in and
he was the daughter who brought the letter and saved my career?
No, different one. No. So Motz came in. He came out of Sioux Falls. So
that was Jordan with a Y.
Yes.
That's right.
So Motz came in as the head coach of Sioux Falls.
Oh.
And he started
GM.
He started that program there. I think 3 years he was there, and he had the biggest recruit around, which was Thomas Vanek.
Wow. Okay. At Sioux Falls?
So, yes.
Well, that's why it was GM of the year.
So exactly. He had Vanek for a couple of years. All right. So great thing. So that was part of the reason Bob got hired, because we needed to get Thomas Vanek. Don's going, if you bring us Vanek, you're hired.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So we get Bob in, and it's a fresh take from, we had John Hill before that.
Yeah.
And you get Motz, and he fit right in.
So
assistant coaches are always a little bubbly.
Was Vanek on the 03 championship team?
Yeah.
Okay.
02, 03. Oh, he led that team.
Oh, wait, but he wasn't on the...
Nope.
Okay, right.
Not 02. And I never played with him in college, but I played with him pro.
Right.
So you get Motz from the Vanek train out of Sioux Falls, and then he comes in. He's feeling good. He's a typical assistant coach.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of the onus and a lot of the sweat like the head coach
They're like
does.
A backup quarterback. But everybody loves them.
You can confide in these guys and have a little bit of fun, and that's what Motz brought. That was great. And then you had Mike Genzel back in our day on the other side. And
where is Genzel these days? Notre Dame?
I think he's a scout.
A scout, okay.
I think he's a scout. He was in Pittsburgh with his kid there.
Oh, he was?
And then his kid got traded.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mario Lucia, who was at Notre Dame.
Yeah, Mario's Don's kid, yeah.
Yep.
So
I thought it was cool. Lucia, what is he, the commissioner of the CCHA or something?
Commissioner of CCHA, and he's also going to get some kind of award for Legend of College Hockey, which normally give it to dead people, I think.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Wow.
So.
Well, he was very much alive last year during this Frozen Four run. It's like you're the commissioner for this and all these teams, and there you are in Tampa Bay, St. Pete.
Yep.
That was so great.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so great last year. It's a niche bit, okay? It's like this doesn't play nationally or worldwide, or really, Wisconsin's in the tournament, but that's not the state of hockey, South, whatever. Last year galvanized and brought people together who hadn't seen each other in decades.
Well, but we also had the COVID, where everything's shut down, and then you finally go to Florida where it's open, free, and the sun was shining. It was 85 degrees. It's sunny. Awesome. You got to play golf. People were happy and excited, hanging out at the pool. We had a lot of Minnesota people down there, but this year's a little different. Obviously, we're here. We got to get here. Got our work cut out for us. Alumni are excited, as well as myself. But like I told you earlier, it's like last year was wow, we have all these players, and this year, we have a good team. But
Quinnipiac was good last year, man.
Quinnipiac was really good. Older
big
team,
and physical,
big, older, physical. Yeah. And we may run into that again. We'll see. But our best player is going to be our goalie. That's closer.
Justin Close.
Yep. If he is on top of his
going
game,
to be, or he needs to be.
He needs to be, and he's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's going to give us our chance to win right there.
Leopold's Mississippi Gardens. All right, your event center.
I'm working my rear end off.
LeopoldsMN.com, right?
Yep.
LeopoldsMN.com, weddings, events, stuff like that. So Jamie's your wife's name, right?
Yes. So she is
you and
the
Jamie,
sole operator.
You guys own this about 8 years now, 7 years?
Yeah, nine.
About nine, yeah. Okay, well,
it's crazy.
You got knee surgery terrorism in hours.
Yeah, she works me too hard.
And it's event season. What are you going to do?
Well,
she works you too
have
hard.
a month to recover from my knee surgery, so this is kind of a perfect time. So the snowstorm came just at the right time because normally I'm putting tables out and doing things and getting flower beds out, and oh man, so I get a little bit of time off, but she doesn't. She's a slave driver. She's not going to let me have time off.
Well, yes, she will.
So I told her yesterday I have to buy a bunch of machinery to take care of this knee problem, and that's she's not real happy with me about the machinery. But
so you got to
hopefully
buy
it replaces some of them.
Excavators and combines and things like that because of your knee.
Just an excuse.
Yeah, man, you're just rolling in that cash, aren't you? Over here, Leo.
Not. I buy used stuff. Used.
That's my man.
I'm so old school.
Hey, weddings, events, whatever. Take a peek. Leopold'sMN.com. It's Mississippi Gardens. What's the city again, Fridley?
We're in Northern Brooklyn Park. We're right on the Mississippi River and the 610 Bridge.
Beautiful. Mississippi Gardens. Yep, 5 acres of beauty. Leopold'sMN.com. God bless you, brother, and best of luck with that knee surgery. And I'll talk to you. Well, let's talk next week, all right?
Sounds good. I appreciate you.
Jordan Leopold. He's Minnesota hockey immortality, played in the Stanley Cup with Calgary, former Hobie Baker Award winner, and the Gophers start the NCAA tournament on the ice this evening, 7:30. Listen to it. Pat Micheletti is part of the call. It's AM 1130. That's Twin Cities News Talk or the free iHeartRadio app. Dave St. Peter is president of the Minnesota Twins. They start their season today. And DSP, he's next. Yo, David, Paul Allen, how you been?
Paul Allen, I'm doing well. It's opening day.
Yeah, that's
be better.
That's good, brother. Things are good with that. I know you're excited. What just overall, like as team president and doing it as long as you have, what excites you about this individual bunch?
It's a solid group. Obviously the 2023, the second half of last year, and the postseason success. I think it sets the stage, so to speak. I know we have a different group, and there's some guys that aren't here, but the core of that team is here, and I really am ecstatic that we're going into the season with on the position player group as healthy as we are. I think offensively this is going to be a really fun team to watch, and it certainly starts with Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis, hopefully playing a lot of baseball. And so I like our club. Obviously, I think our division will be a little better than people probably think, and it'll be a dogfight, so to speak, but nothing better than opening day and getting going here again.
Dave St. Peter, president of the Minnesota Twins, at Twins Prez via Twitter or the X machine, if you would like to go back and forth with David. Now, and you mentioned the position players. Too bad about some of these bullpen bumps and bruises to start. I mean, it's a long season, I get it, but that's a legit team strength, right?
Yeah, bullpen really should be on paper a strength, and we actually have in our mind a fair amount of depth there. Well, it's going to be tested early when you take some of the names that aren't starting the season there. All that said, it creates opportunity. Griffin Jacks has been absolutely tremendous all spring. What we saw to Brock Stewart most of last year and in the postseason was significant, and guys like Jorge Alcala and others, I think, are going to have an opportunity to step up. So. You're going to need a lot more pitching over the course of 162 games. So, we'll be tested early on that front, but I'm optimistic, we'll have the group there that'll hold down the fort until some of those other arms, get back, hopefully sooner versus later. What
do you guys expect from Jose Miranda this year?
Well, you know what? He looks great in spring training, and I know he's not there fully yet defensively in terms of throwing, but, I think he'll start the season in St. Paul, and I expect him to have a huge impact there and ultimately find his way back to the Twins. Offensively, this is a guy that we think can help us.
The Dallas kid, speaking of pitching, back 2 questions ago, Cody Funderburk, he got a win in his debut last year, and just overall, what do you think? What do you think about the lefty?
Well, I think he's going to have he's another one of those guys that has a huge opportunity here with Caleb Thielbar on the shelf to start the season. So he's going to get more of those matchups along with Okert, who we signed late. I think, Cody is a guy that's fearless, and, he's going to go out and have an opportunity to get some of these tough left-handed hitters out. And it could start today down in Kansas City. So, but we like him, and we think he's a guy that's going to continue to grow and get better.
Bailey Ober really excites me. I mean, I liked him last year, but 144 innings for him last year with a career best whip around 1. And sure, he was in and out because he just doesn't have a lot of experience, but he got it last year. Is the plan, or do you feel he's dead set to run a big one this year?
Yeah, I like our chances with him, and not just what we see, but what other teams see. I mean, his pure stuff, PA is really, really good. We think he'll build off of what took place last year. I'd like to see, his innings go well beyond that 140 and hopefully get, closer to that 200 inning mark. But yeah, he's a legit big league, middle of the rotation guy that's going to give us a chance to win each and every night. And that's all you can really ask for. And, again, he's another guy that's continuing to develop and get better. And, I like our chances with Bailey Ober.
Yeah, Dave St. Peter, longtime president of the Minnesota Twins, longtime participant and contributor to the 9 to Noon radio show, or back when we were on AM 1130 KFAN. Love David, and we've known each other for a long time. Is Royce Lewis proving to be a moneymaker? I mean, he's good, and in the postseason moments were unbelievable. But what I mean is, like jersey sales and stuff. Is he developing into one of those?
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't imagine there's a Twins player that has been with us for maybe as short a time as Royce, or played in as few games as Royce has played due to injury, that's as popular as he is.
Right.
And, because when he has played, he's done spectacular things. And when it counts the most, i.e. the bases are loaded or it's a postseason game, he seems to rise to the occasion. So that results in fandom going crazy for this guy, and we love that. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, he's a guy that will ultimately sell tickets. He will ultimately be the face of our franchise. That's rooted in Royce's play on the field. It's also rooted in his personality. Every interview he gives, the way he treats every media member, every fan. This guy's a special person. I think people have got an opportunity to see that, and let's just hope that he can find good health, because it will help us win a lot of games. But it's going to be fun as our fan base gets to see him and get to know him a little bit better over the course of 2024.
Remember when you sold stuff in the pro shop 30-some-odd years ago? Not a bad way to start a career, right, Mr. President?
I do remember those days, PA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I was blessed. We all were blessed with opportunities that came within our careers. And
you've worked hard.
You never knew it at the time, but you were learning things, right?
Yeah.
And there are days that every day I take back from those retail days in terms of hiring people, firing people, managing staff, interacting with customers, etc.
Yeah, Bismarck, North Dakota, go crazy. You're salt of the earth, man, and it's been a treat knowing you as long as I have. And you've been Twins president, since like Dark Star, God rest his soul, introduced us, and you started coming on the radio and stuff. And we just always kind of had the same quirky vibe. Oh wait, before we say goodbye, did with the Ohtani stuff? Do like team presidents get like something from the commissioner, just being like, hey, in case you ain't looking at this or thinking about this, you might want to start looking at this and thinking about this. Is that how it works?
Yeah, there's certainly talk in the game, and certainly the commissioner has communicated with ownership and club presidents around kind of the state of that situation. But, I can tell you, PA, since I got into baseball, there are rules, and then there are rules. And the rules specific to gambling have always been front and center, and it didn't take the Ohtani thing for that to be the case. So that's why everybody's taking it so seriously, and I trust they'll get to the bottom of it.
Let's do it again next week if you have time before the home opener, okay?
Love to, my man, and appreciate all you do, and let's get a win today down in Kansas City.
Yes, sir. I'll be watching. God bless you, David. Great chatting with you. Good luck with the squad, all right?
All right, Paul. Be well.
See you, bud. Dave St. Peter, president of the Minnesota Twins. Back after this. So what was with deciding we're going to start hitting button bar sounders during stuff? Because you did it and made me laugh. Then I did the donkey, but it was over Radio Immortality, Lee V, and I think during a commercial. So, I mean, like, when did we decide we were going to start that bit?
I don't know. I'm Dan Patrick. But I did it over the report. I didn't do it over the spot.
I know.
You're responsible for all farm animal related noises.
Are you like that at home when having a discussion?
Well, no, I don't. I
certainly hope not.
I do what's best for my own well-being, and I don't make eye contact with Mrs. Nordquist.
Yeah, well, if I cost the station a live ad right there by dropping the donkey bit, I apologize. It was an accident. I spilled cop. No, I didn't do that either. My elbow hit it. My fat elbow hit it, so it was an accident. It's not an accident when you listen to 9 to Noon, as we said yesterday. We not implore. I'm not really of the imploring variety, but nevertheless, if you are so inclined, we believe it behooves you to listen to this time slot specifically, 9 to Noon, but listen to the fan around the clock. Blah, blah, blah. This time slot is dropping nuggets and crumbs and croutons and little things that will put you on the trail for a month from today to which quarterback the Vikings may be drafting in the first round of the 2024 NFL draft. I mean, we got the goods. Make sure you're there each and every day. FM 100.3 KFAN or the free iHeartRadio app. I'm about to record an Easter version of my podcast, Faith and Gall. So look for that a little later today via one of the 2 Twitter accounts I have. And an early happy Easter to everybody. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon. I'm Paul Allen. Big Daddy Kane going to put that wrap on the show.
Wraps 9 to Noon brought to you by Casey's. The pizza, get Casey's rewards, deals on food and fuel. Stop into a Casey's today. Thank you, Casey's. Sounds like things got the Wolves all dramatic, like the Bally's contract coming through and all static. Thought the deal was all done, automatic. Glitz and glamour sports ownership, aristocratic. Getting flipped on its head by Glenn Taylor, handshake guy. Wonder if he swears like a sailor. Apparently things got sour with Alex and Lori. Now refreshing Twitter for a fresh Johnny K story. Woj says that they had enough money. Maybe Glenn didn't think Lori was charming or Alex funny. Maybe Glenn didn't think it was worth the cash. First time in 20 years that his team wasn't trash. Thoughts on the owner? They can be divisive. Periodically regarded as smiley, indecisive. Mostly I just root for the team every night. Get the dub. And once a year, that meal in the Lexus Club.
How you doing?
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.